What's up guys, Mega Bleeder here with another episode of Mechanical Mastery Plus. Today I'm going to walk you through what I did between the episodes to get us to just one more episode I think after this before we finish the pack. Let's get started. Okay, so I created this little clipboard here to get everything covered because I don't want to miss anything. I did update our storage room. We'll take a look at our first one here. I just kind of ran out of a little bit of space in this one drive, so I added a bunch more drives, and then I stretched out our storage drawers because they were all just kind of clumped up in here, and I didn't really like the way it was looking. We weren't really using all of this space. Not that we're really using all of it right now, but I think it's a little bit better than it was. And maybe in the future what I'll do is close off between this episode and the next one. I'll close off this section here and maybe cover up these windows. I'm not really certain, but here's our storage area. We've got our drawers and stuff like that, everything that we're keeping in stock. I did update a lot of these so that we're storing even more because I needed more for some of the big crafts that we needed to. What's next? Upgraded gears for skeleton skulls. Yes, so down here, I was running out of gears to make the basic mechanical essence. So I just threw down 2 more multi-servo presses, and that seemed to make up the difference to be making more of the wither skulls. So we can see that those are being made here, and we are also getting those from some other places. So heavy water and tritium. The heavy water, I went ahead and set up a pool down here to get us some heavy water. Let's light these up. Excellent. So I've got heavy water coming in here, and that's getting processed into deuterium and oxygen. And if we take a look at our system here, we've got a ton of hydrogen, a ton of oxygen, a ton of deuterium. So that's all cranking away. We can see our lithium tank there is full. So let's take a look at Mekanism DT fuels and the uranium crystals. So we'll teleport to our Mekanism room. Over here, I did have to process the deuterium and tritium into DT fuel, but now I am turning liquid DT fuel. Let's hide that. Liquid DT fuel into DT fuel. Talk more about this in a second. Here I'm turning uranium with sulfuric acid into the dirty uranium slurry. That's getting transformed into this uranium crystal. I thought I was going to use this for mixing here to make plutonium nuggets, but I'm not going to go that direction anymore. Over here, we're still processing into the advanced mechanical crystal that we are selling. That was our main money source for a little bit, but not anymore. Over here, I'm not sure what all was set up. I think the only thing I might have added was turning our lithium into tritium. And then over here, I've got liquid lithium that we make downstairs getting turned into lithium and then turned into lithium dust and then stored here. The lithium dust, I can show you, this is used for creating the basic induction cell and the basic induction provider. There's also another one to turn it back into lithium, but there's no point in doing that. We're getting plenty of lithium. So that is the skeleton, ghast, and wither spawner. So I can come down here and show you guys that. Is it this room? Yes. So in here, I've got 2 spawners set up. There's a ghast one with a ghast spawn egg and a skeleton spawn egg. And if we look, the ghast spawn egg, originally I bought it, but it's $4 million. So I created the egg using the mob swab. So I spawned one, swabbed it, got the egg after feeding it to a chicken, and now that's here. And now if I want ghast tears, I can order those, and it will spawn a ghast. It actually spawns 2 of them because the ghast tier is not a 100% drop rate. It's either a 0 or a 1. So on that right here. So 2 ghast tears with 2. If I tell it, I get 2 ghast tears from 2 jelly babies. So the chances are that it's going to drop some there. So that's that. I set up the spawner for the skeletons because we need skeleton skulls to be able to create the wither skeleton skulls. And then over here, I did set up a wither spawner for ether gas. So there's the fluid laser base there, and then the fluid laser drills, they're all fully upgraded, getting us ether gas, which we don't actually use this for a lot. We use it for the supreme machine frame, which we use to make the black hole unit, the black hole tank, the black hole controller. I'm not using any of these generators. I am using the wither builder, so we did need that, and that's what is spawning our wither right here. So he spawns down in the wither builder, down underground right there, and then the mob crusher kills him. I do have the boss death muffler here, and then if you right click it, it also hides the health bar. Infinite fluids. So like I talked about in the last episode, water has a tag. We can see here it has the bottomless allow. So the infinite fluids we can get from a create, a 10,000 source block area are water, lava, cognitium, liquid DT fuel, chocolate, light essence, and dark essence. These are some fluids that we need: the cognitium, liquid DT fuel, light essence, dark essence, and chocolate. We need this for our final quest to complete the pack. So I went ahead and set up those down here. So I had tons and tons of lava that I used the liquid buyers for. The cognitium you get just from pumping experience into this experience obelisk. So I had fluid XP that you can just pump into the experience obelisk. So I pumped it in there and then converted it out, and I used the hose pulley to fill up these huge tanks here with the cognitium, and then I pumped it out, and I was testing which one I liked better, and I think I like laser IO better for emptying this. So once it is a 10,000 source block pool, it becomes bottomless, as long as it has that bottomless allow tag. Now I set up the logic cable with an fluid importer here, and then I set up entangled blocks to try and export. I use lava, and I'm actually using this to get our money. So we can see I've got fluid sellers here for lava and fluid sellers here for cognitium. If we look at lava, it says that we can sell it. And if we click on this, it'll show us all of our shop sell offers. So we can sell pink slime, liquid meat, essence, cognitium, fluid XP, essence of knowledge, experience, refined fuel, biofuel, and lava, as well as these. These are a tier 5 trade permit. This is something if you want to put the game on like easy mode in the early stages. But the lava and the cognitium are the only ones in this list that have the bottomless allow. I also did the same thing with DT fuel and with chocolate. So we converted the DT fuel into liquid DT fuel and then filled up this guy. And then chocolate, we used the mixer with sugar, cocoa, and milk in the heated mixer. This one took quite a while, but when I was doing everything, I just set this up, and then while I was working on everything else, this just ran. And then the same thing over here with light essence and dark essence. These are both full, but what I did to extract these really fast, I put the fluid cards in here, and these are all max overclocked with transfer and speed all the way turned up. And then these overclockers, if I take these out, well, it should show. Don't know why it's not updating. But if I, with the exports, only one will run if you don't have any node clockers in. If you add in a second one, it will run a one additional. So if you put in all 8, it can run all of them at the same time. So we have full darkness essence here, as well as full light essence here. I left these 2 empty because I wasn't really using them for anything. And then under our base here, if I go this one, you can see I just have big giant glass tanks down here that are full of these resources. The liquid DT fuel, the chocolate, and then those 2 are empty. I think that's it for that. The infinite fuels, oh yeah, big levels. So with this guy right here, what we can do is actually it can only store 1072 levels. You can see I've got 3209. If I take all those out, look at how fast that's filling up. It's crazy fast. We can see how fast it's pulling out from all of these and then inserting into here. And then I can fill it up just to stop it so it's not creating any world lag. That's big levels and big money because, like I said, we are selling the Cognitium and we are selling the lava. And this, I think this is about as fast as you can extract from this, because if you look and see, I might be able to pull out the Cognitium faster. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, you can see how it's like kind of pulling out a little bit there, and that's just because the fluid sellers only pull out so fast. But we're already up to $100 billion, so big levels and big money. Big battery. Let's see this guy. So I did go ahead and create the induction matrix. The induction matrix takes the induction casing. This was a challenge. I'm really excited about this. This is the last thing I'm going to show you from our clipboard today. But the miniaturization crafting, I did automate this. It was a bit of a challenge, but it was fun. So using the induction casing and the induction provider and induction cell. The provider lets you input and output power. The induction cell lets you store power. So there's a bunch of induction cells. I've got a bunch of these induction cells. Let's see. If I go shapeless, there's 38 of them in there. And then there's a couple of these induction providers just so that I can insert and extract power as fast as possible. Fission reactors and waste. I did set up the fission reactors. And we are inputting. We do have a burn rate of 255 millibuckets per tick. That is on both of these. I have that set up. And if we go and look at the fissile fuel, it's actually running not great right now. Are these empty? Emptying? It looks like they're doing okay. It might be dropping slowly. Let's see if we can go take a look at that and troubleshoot that a little bit from here. So if we go and look, these are all running full speed. So essentially what we can do is look here. We're making 512 millibuckets per tick. Okay, so 512 millibuckets per tick is what this chemical infuser makes. And we are full of the hydrofluoric acid and uranium oxide. So we actually need to adjust this because we can only run, if we split this in half, at 256 millibuckets per tick. Yeah. So if we go back to power and back to our reactors, these shouldn't really have dropped at all. But if we change this to, say, 254, this one to 254, so we drop it by just a millibucket per tick, we should see this start to go up once these fill up. It's going to slowly fill up, but we're not losing it at all. The waste coming out from these, the fissile fuel gets turned into nuclear waste. We can turn that either into plutonium or polonium. So what I did was set up two separate systems. That's why I set up two reactors. One to turn it into polonium and one to turn it into plutonium. Here we've got a bunch of plutonium. Here we have a bunch of polonium. But I did route them together so we can actually alternate them and turn them on and off. So now this reactor is making polonium and this reactor is making plutonium, but I can switch them to making just the polonium. The reason why I'm using them to make just polonium is because the polonium is turned into antimatter in the supercritical phase shifter. And then over here we've got all of our waste, our radioactive waste barrels. These They do not fill up at all. I placed down a whole bunch of them over here. They fill up a couple of these chunks, and none of them get backed up at all. There is enough. The radioactive waste that comes out of these machines, the spent nuclear waste comes from processing both of these, and then the spent nuclear waste you just put into the radioactive waste barrels. So those get dumped out down here into this kind of lore protected thing. These zombie like villager children, these baby zombies, it's really funny that they pretty much only spawn in here, and I don't really mind it because it's like the reactor area, so there's some zombies kind of always in the reactor area. So that's fusion, reactors, and waste. That's running here. So I've got polonium, I've got plutonium, and those are things that we're going to need. If we look here, to make the SPS, and to make all of our mechanism things, as well as, I don't know if there was anything in particular in here. I don't remember. It's a way that we can more quickly make antimatter pellets. Okay, so we can make the multiplite, the refined obsidian. This is automated. Now these are automated. And this is, I'm guessing this will be a lot faster than the traditional way, which I do have, and I'll show you the fusion power. So over here, we have DT fuel. We've got unlimited liquid DT fuel that I'm pumping into these rotary condensators. And these are converting that from liquid DT fuel into DT fuel. And that's getting pumped into here, which is getting pumped into our fusion reactor. And if you just pump in DT fuel, it runs at the maximum injection rate, and it makes 200 million forge energy per tick. So we are cranking that in right now. With that energy, and with the polonium over there, that's being used up over here to create antimatter. And here we have 8 antimatter pellets. So that's our fusion, that's our SPS. This guy's gonna sit and run for a little while. To be able to make this, I need the multiplite ingot. To make the multiplite, we're gonna get through this today, but I need the shulker. To make the shulker spawn egg, to be able to spawn shulkers, I need a little bit of antimatter and a chorus flower. And I also need the antiprotonic nucleosynthesizer. For this, I needed a little bit of antimatter, so that's why I had to set up the SPS. The 3D printer. Okay, so this is the last thing that I want to get you caught up with today. The crafting with the field projectors is pretty complicated. I tried the builder, I tried the space chamber with the builder, I tried the copy and paste gadget, and I tried the schematic cannon. The problem with the schematic cannon is that once you run the schematic, it turns it back into a blank schematic. The problem with the builder and the space chambers is it's a little bit buggy, and I could not get it to work properly. Maybe there is a way to get it to work, but I couldn't get it to work. And the copy paste gadget, I did use this method before in compact claustrophobia. And in there, and I think normally in this mod, you can shift right click on something like a chest, and you can pull items out of there. So you can put this in a clicker with it linked to an inventory, and you can make it work as long as you anchor your render here. But the problem is there's no way to save it. Like I'm shift right clicking, and all it does is ask to open up adjustments. So I tried a bunch of different things and it didn't work. I ended up Googling the schematics, and you can put the schematics as a filter into deployers. So you can put down a deployer and you can actually put the schematic in a filter like that. And as long as you have the schematic locked to a position, the deployer can place down the blocks that are in the schematic. So what I did here is set my pattern provider to feed into an item vault. So making the steel casing, it would feed into here. The comparator would see that it has an inventory, and it's going to send a signal through the wireless receiver there, or the wireless link in transmit mode to this wireless link in receive mode, which then activates this gear shift. It's on a 5-second delay. It'll extend this rope pulley down to the bottom and then pull it up. While that is happening, the mechanical essence in here is getting pulled through this guy. So if I go to steel casing, no, if I go to turbine casing, yeah. So this guy, this guy, we have to make, the only way to be able to craft this is in the miniaturization crafting. So I can say, hey, craft me one of these, and we can actually see this guy in action. So we can see that getting pumped around to this factory dropper. These guys are going to come out and extend. The dropper is then going to shoot the mechanical essence into the field, and then it's going to craft it. And then once it gets crafted, it gets picked up by this vacuumulator and sent back into the system. Takes a little bit of time for this to work though. There we go, we just saw it drop, and now our crafting status is clear. This was version 1. This works. I kind of had to strong arm this into getting it to work, and it's not exactly as good as I would like. So when I had to redo it for the induction casing, yeah, the induction casing, but the problem is this is a 5x5. So it doesn't, this one works, but as you could see, it like went down and placed it in a weird way. If we watch, did I start it? Yeah, I did start it. It's a little bit slow, but it places like that middle one and then the bottom one and then the top one. So it works, but just barely. This one over here, I am a lot happier with. So the same thing, pattern provider into a vault. The vault, then the comparator sees that there's items in there. So we have it sending a signal through the redstone link. That gets sent to this guy. Now this is working in reverse. So once it sends a signal, this guy is going to wait 3 seconds, pull the piston back 10 meters, and then push it forward 7 meters. When it comes back, this redstone contact here makes contact with this one, which then sends a signal through this link to this dropper to send the other essence, the advanced mechanical essence, into there. So if we look at the induction casing, I can craft this guy. It's going to take it a second to craft because it does need the ultimate energy cube, but this one is a lot faster and it works a lot better. So it places them all down, it fires it out, it activates, and then it comes back. So this one would not have worked in this way because these don't have the chance to come all the way down. So I had to like do it in reverse like this, and this should not have landed in my inventory. That should go in the vacuumulator. There we go. So it sends the signal, it gets output, it gets pulled out of the vault with this pipe, sent into this vault, and then gets exported there. The last one that I did was the fusion reactor, and this one, because you don't need many of the fusion reactor casings, like we don't need a lot of these to make a full reactor. You only need 36. So I didn't fully automate this one the same way. The items just get output into this barrel, and then I did it manually, and it only takes a couple of crafts there. So that's everything that I did between the episodes. Hey guys, if you made it this far into the episode, I just wanted to remind you that every like and subscribe are much appreciated, and I'd love to hear a comment about what pack I should play next. This episode, I want to set up chromatic, compound, and multiply. So for the chromatic compound, because we did finish the essence, the light and dark essence, those used a mixer and a superheated mixer. So to be able to make the chromatic compound, this guy, we're going to need andesite alloy, glowing ingots, polished rose quartz, and obsidian dust in a superheated mixer. So this guy is going to get these items. So if we look at these, we're going to have to stock these guys in here. Easy. And we're going to double them. Nice. And then we're going to need to get out our laser nodes and our card holder. We put laser nodes here, and we get filters. Counting filters. I should be able to set these all in one. Yes. So let's take out these and say, hey, counting filter, you get those. And this is going to be an insert. This is on orange. That's fine. And then we're going to change that to orange. Yes. And that's going to be on all of our cardinal directions. And we're also going to need an extract. So I'm going to set this up. You guys just watched me do this in the last episode with the essence. So I'm going to set this up and then be right back. And just like that, there's our chromatic compound. And we get an extra one from the quest. So this guy is used to make shadow steel and to make refined radiance. So we'll make shadow steel and we'll make refined radiance. That's both of these guys here. And it's going to be a very similar setup to what we just did. And then both of these, if I remember correctly, the shadow mechanism, we don't need it for that. I don't think we need Durasteel for anything. No. The refined radiance, we use that to make the multiplite, and then the refined mechanism. So that's the same process that we just did here, and you guys have seen that. We've seen the blaze burner, the basin, and the mixer. So I'm going to set those guys up over here next to our glowing ingot, and I'll bring you right back for that. All right, so here is our setup. I've got chromatic compound and dark essence going in here. That makes our shadow steel. We got chromatic compound and light essence going in here. That makes our refined radiance. If that would pop back up. There we go. In here, we've got shadow steel, the precision mechanism. That makes this mechanism here, which is the shadow mechanism. And we're also crafting the magmatic and annealed. So that crafts the shadow. Over here, this gets crafted into the magmatic. Over here, it gets crafted into the annealed, and then that gets put into here to make the refined mechanism. The refined mechanism will be used later to make our creative generator, our creative motor. Both of those, that one we need this one we need the creative motor, and this we need the dragon head. We'll get to that later. It also makes the radiant glow claws, which takes 2 radiant sabers. This we'll probably use to break bedrock. So we'll get to that a little bit later. Next thing that we're looking for is the multiplite ingot. This needs the Shulker shells. So to be able to craft that, we're going to make the antiprotonic nucleosynthesizer. That was really loud. This is a mechanism machine that we're going to place down right here. I was actually kind of surprised that we ended up filling up most of this mechanism area. So what this guy does is takes a bunch of energy. So if we take a gate, we'll take a nitro gate. We'll just place him on there because it needs a ton of power to fill up. It takes 400 million Fe. With this guy, we can take an antimatter. If we take a chemical oxidizer, and if we place him down this way, we're actually going to break this and use the nitro cables because they transmit 1,000,000 Fe per tick. We can place that guy there, so that's going to fill up both of those. If we put an antimatter pellet in here, it's going to process, and then we should be able to output automatically into this guy. So now we have 1,000 antimatter in there. If we take some of our, we just need just one of our chorus flower, we can pop that in there, and then it makes the Shulker spawn egg. Sweet. Let's look at the quest book because I feel like I missed a bunch of stuff. Refined radiance and the mechanism. So let's go over here and see if we can pop these guys out. So there's the refined mechanism. For that we need refined radiance. Can we get those? Oh, it wants us to make 16 of them. If I come over here, I should be getting it in. If I can take them out there. There we go. Throw those in there. What else? We need the plutonium. We need these nuggets. I don't think we do need those. What else are we looking at here? The induction matrix, the multiplied ingot. We need the induction matrix. Okay, so we need to make some of these. We already had them. So we'll grab those guys, and we'll need another one of these, and then one of those, and one of those. If we check our quest book, all we need is the induction casing. I could probably throw some of those in there, and that'll take it. Oh. There we go. That completes that quest. Gets us Ultimate Universal Cables, the SPS. Let's put those away, and that. The SPS quest, 60 SPS casing, and 123 structural glass. So we've got the glass, the SPS casing, we got that too. And then we need 3 SPS ports. There we go. And then we also need 1 coil. There we go. That completes that. Now we need the gas tier. We got a whole bunch of those. And then we need end crystals and shulker shells. Once we get the shulker shell, that will take us to the multiplied ingot. Okay. So my question is, how does the shulker spawn? So we're going to have to put him down here. And if we place it in there and then show area, we're going to have to bring it up and offset it to right. Nope, I don't want to get stuck in that fan. Right there. Now let's take some jelly babies. See what this looks like. Let's grab our sword. Because I don't know where he's going to spawn. Okay. That's good. So, Shulker? No, it didn't break it. What are the chances of that dropping? A 50% chance. let's get 4 of these guys so it'll spawn faster. And this does have upgrades. Let's get beheading upgrades as well. And that might help with the Shulker shell. Put those in there. We'll put 2 jelly babies in there. Where does he spawn? Okay, he spawned downstairs. That's not good. Okay, so that is not good. What we're going to want to do is find him. Alright. Here he is. That's one of them, at least. And then where's the other one? Where did he teleport to? Teleported someplace. I was worried about this. I was worried we would end up losing them once we did spawn them. Come on. Hey. Okay, where'd he go now? Let's see. He might have gone outside. Yep. Okay, so, okay, there's our Shulker shell. Now the problem is going to be that we cannot have them teleporting around like that. That is not going to be good. So we are going to have to put a mob crusher in here with a limited range. Let's say right here. We'll build a mob crusher. Missing book. Alright, I can't believe I don't have books on Autocraft. There's some. What are we waiting on for that? Nothing. There we go. And I need a block. Place him down there. And let's get some add-ons. We'll only need a small add-on. Tier 2. I think that should be okay. Now if we show the working area, I don't want it to be that big, because I don't want it to kill everything. So the add-on Tier 1, if we do this, take out the latex, and say in here? No. In there. That should craft. There we go. Okay, now that's the area that we want it to be. And if we take and connect this guy to here. We won't set it on extract just yet, but I do need a gate. So now let's try that. Let's hide back here. All right. I think they're... Oh, that did not work. Right? Yeah, he just teleported someplace else. Where is the inhibitor? Inhibits teleportation for entities up to 8 blocks away. So we'll place that right there. Now let's try this. So now he should not be able to teleport away. Right? Am I not getting any shells for that? getting some shells. Not a lot. Now the add-on. Is there a fortune add-on? There's not. There used to be a fortune add-on that you could put in here, but apparently you cannot. Crusher. Maybe if we use an enchanted iron sword, that might work. Let's extract all of these. And then this is going to need an insert of jelly babies, which I do have getting extracted from here. He's not getting jelly babies. Why is he not getting jelly babies? Do I need to extract on this fester? Where is this? I need to change this. He's getting jelly babies, and I don't want to be floating. He's also getting jelly babies. Okay. Let's put those away. Let's put these away. We need to go find that other Shulker, wherever he ran off to. Might be outside, might be down here. I think it's outside. Or maybe I don't know where he's at. Where is there a glowing effect? Glowing module? Can I make this? No, I don't have any of these things. I gotta find this guy. Where is he spawned? There he is. There we go. Okay, now I shouldn't have any trouble with them. Yes. Let's turn off the spawn area. And 66 Shulker shells. Okay, so the problem is... The problem is that this does not want to register that Shulker cell. So a fuzzy card? Will that work? There's one Shulker shell. You're going to be an insert. How do I make those? A multiply ingot. Oh, I didn't set that up yet. Okay. Can I upgrade this? No. And if I come into here, I can't pin that because it saves it that way. If I put it in here, it adds that tooltip stuff on it. Okay. So there's our Shulker. Now, the Shulker shell, I do need to set up with this, so it's the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up. All right, so there we have it. I've got refined radiance, Enderman heads, and Shulker shells going in here. This one is completely backed up, so we will start to back up on these now, the annealed mechanism and all of those. It just takes a little bit of time because of our shadow steel, but I don't think, if I'm looking at it correctly, the refined radiance, we don't need a ton of this. Using it to make the refined mechanism, it looks like we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 total. So that's totally fine. The multiplied ingot, using it for the creative flower, it looks like we'll use it for the multiplied tube, the antimatter pellet, and the creative flower. The creative flower, we're gonna need 100 of these, so we'll need 100 of these multiplied ingots, which it will slowly build up on. And then the multiplied tube, it looks like we only need 2 of these to be able to create the radiant glow claws, and then we only need 1 set of those. So those are making up. So if we take that guy out, we did get our quest, sweet, and then we've got antimatter in our inventory, so we've got that guy there. And then the end crystal, let's go ahead and wrap up a couple more of these. The end crystal should be simple enough for us to make. We've got that guy. And then the end crystal will be used to make the Ender Dragon DNA. So we've got Shulker shells, awesome. The end crystal, nitro crystals, we've got all of these. That's excellent. If we take a look back here, we get another end crystal. We need the radiant glow claws next. And we can see here that gets us to the bedrock shards. Now the antimatter pellet, I think this is where we're going to leave off today. We get creative reclamation chamber. We get the creative paste. It gets us the dragon head, the warden, and then this right here, the creative flux efficiency. So this guy, if we use antimatter, liquid DT fuel, and a resonant integral component, if we do that 10 times, we'll get the creative flux efficiency. And this basically turns any of our thermal series machines into a creative machine. So it just works instantly. Let's go check and see how much we have. We do have just enough. And then the antimatter pellets we can also use with those multiplied ingots. So if we set up, so we've got 15 there. So that would allow us to create 15 more antimatter pellets. And the only thing that's really slowing us down for this is the refined radiance, which is made here. So I'll probably ramp up production of this between episodes. I'll probably set down another guy like this setup here over here to be able to make the refined radiance really fast. That way we can get a lot of multiply, and we can use that to make antimatter pellets, and we can use that to make, we don't need the creative paste container. I mean, I suppose if we wanted to copy a bunch of stuff, but it doesn't give us honey, and I couldn't figure out how we're supposed to get honey other than like planting trees, I think. But we don't really need this unless we're going to go for 100% of the pack. And then the creative reclamation chamber, this will go in, it says no catalyst used, so I suppose we could put this in machines like the induction smelter. This has catalysts. If we see here, we could use it for like ore processing. And then what's the other one? The pulverizer. We could use it in one of these guys to make our enriched basalic reagent last longer, but I don't think that we're going to be using this very much. So where was I just at? Let's see. The Ender Dragon, the Radiant Glow Claws. So making this Radiant Glow Saber. I think this will be a good goal for us next episode. Well, the next episode is just is going to be finishing everything. So the Radiant Glow Claws, we'll have to make the Ender Dragon DNA. This is going to take a whole bunch of nether stars. If you were watching closely, I have been crafting nether stars the whole entire episode. We are going to need 2,000 of these. I went ahead and did the math for the Ender Dragon DNA that we're going to use to make our Creative Blaze Cake, our Warden Egg, and our Dragon's Breath, and everything that we're going to use these for, making the Creative Dragon Head, or the Dragon Head for the motor, yada yada yada. The Dragon Egg, I don't know if there's a use for, other than this Dragon Chestplate here from Gobber 2. I might end up making that. I don't know. I think we get Creative Flight. Yeah, Creative Flight and negative. Quest complete. Okay, here's one for free. What's this? I know. Well, hate mob farms. Small tip, point your right. Mob grinding utils has all kinds of tools to create mob farms. That was interesting. I'm glad you guys get to see that. That's a weird quest to get. Interesting. Yep, so on the next episode, we will go ahead and wrap up everything here and get everything completed. We've got everything complete here. I'll go through and we'll finish up all of these quests, all these stragglers, and we will go ahead and 100% it for the next episode. We'll have to pick up, I think I've got the majority of them. Yeah, some stragglers here. But yeah, next episode, we finish the pack. Thanks for stopping in.